everybody. This is it's January 2024. This is not about resolutions or anything like that. It's actually just about what's going on in my life at the moment. So this is I'll call it a life update, life reset, in the style of P-Rod, I suppose you could call it really. But yeah, it seems that 3 years of YouTube skating has seemed to have started to take its toll on my almost 37-year-old body. And I'm in a bit of a strange place where for the first time I'm having to, not the first time, but having to really consider skating less or changing how I skate so that I can still continue to skate. And that's a really weird place to be at. So let me explain what I mean. So YouTube channel started off me crutch skateboarding, and I've been doing that. I'm still doing that throughout. So no matter what happens, I'm always going to be doing my crutch skating. But the problem was it about 2 years ago, I got my first shoulder injury on the shoulder. We had like a load of injections, didn't work. Then I went to my orthopaedic hospital, they did an ultrasound and found that they'd got bursitis in the shoulder joint. So under ultrasound, they guided, which was extremely unpleasant, they guided multiple injections into the joint, specifically into the bursa, and that gave me some really great pain relief, to the point where I was convinced my shoulder pain was gone and it wasn't coming back. So fast forward a few months after that, I think it was about September, October time. It was basically when I broke my finger. I'd hurt my wrist not long before that, but I fell, something happened. I must have just twinged it slightly. And then the fact then that I was had that injury, I think I was using that arm more, and then it just brought it on. And then before I knew it, I was back where I started. So yeah, I've been to see the specialist. Well, specialist. She's a rehabilitation medicine doctor, I think, or something like that. But anyway, and I've been sent for a surgical consult because they've run out of sort of like things they can do from their point of view. Although she says it is positive, we know that it's definitely the bursa that's affected in the shoulder, specifically I think she said the subacromial joint and stuff like that. So she said it might be necessary to have keyhole surgery. So having surgery on my shoulder would mean taking time out from my skating. Actually, how I'd function in life is like a really big mystery, because like I know I've got my leg, but I need to be able to use my arm to put my leg on. There's loads of stuff that's like really scares me about going down that route. However, it scares me more to know that my shoulder is causing me so much discomfort now. It's affecting my sleep. And I've actually stopped and started taking awareness of this, as opposed to just taking more and more painkillers. That I'm actually probably damaging my shoulder more by taking more painkillers, because like using the mouse on the computer, and again I've had to change to an ergonomic mouse, which is more like that because of the rotation of the shoulder. That's really been hurting me. So it started off as a rotator cuff injury of all things, but anyway, I thought it was bunion pain in my left foot, but it turns out it's actually degeneration. Well, I've got a bunion as well, but degeneration in the toe joint, and now I've got to wear an orthotic underneath that to minimise the movement in that toe, and basically I'm balancing out when I stand on my leg, or when I'm skating actually as well, toe pain, ow, versus shoulder pain. When I'm in my wheelchair, obviously that's massively affected, but also like I can't physically just like use my leg all the time to avoid my shoulder pain, especially since the leg itself gives me problems of its own right. My toe, obviously, and also get quite a lot of back pain from it as well, because I think because my knees are at different levels, because different heights, because of the through knee nature, that's where your knee would normally be, or where my knee would normally be, and then because that's where the end of your leg is, they put the knee joint further out. It's a really weird one to explain to people. It is a strange one, but yeah. So you end up with a short shin, but so when you're bending your knees are actually at uneven heights. It's twisting, and also I'm having problems with the skin again. I'm having rubbing, pressure sores, that type of thing. I'm going back and forth. So it's a bit of a confusing time for me at the moment, and in terms of a mental space, this is where I'm trying to take on a new mindset, where I'm trying to take awareness and take stock of all these things and balance them all out. And also sort of maybe have a slight acceptance of like that I am now almost 37. That doesn't mean I will slow down. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be any less gnarly or do any less things that I'm doing. But I think I need to look at my if I want to carry on skating, which I certainly do. I don't ever want to be able to stop skating, whatever the time that comes when I can't remember. Drag me away kicking and screaming, literally. But I don't really want to. I don't ever want to give up skating. That's for sure. Heaven is a half pipe. OPM had that one right. So I'm basically balancing out skating with one leg versus getting with two legs, getting around in life with one leg versus getting around in life with my two legs, wheelchair, crutches, prosthetic leg, skateboard. I've actually started inline skating again. You wouldn't believe how many things you use your shoulder for. It's my first time having a serious long-term chronic upper limb injury. So it's like I'm trying to think of long-term contingency plans here. I know this is really, really strange, and maybe I'm looking at it from a point of view of someone who obviously I didn't know I was going to become disabled, so my brain's always looking ahead too far, because it's preparing for a similar situation and a change, which I think is good in some ways, because my brain's it's prepared for stuff, but it's bad because it means you get anxiety because you're thinking constantly about these things into the future. Anyway, going on to thinking about thinking, I've been having a lot of problems with my thinking for quite a long time. I don't know how much attention you guys actually pay to what I'm talking in the video, or when I'm doing tricks or whatever what I actually say or do or whatever but through doing YouTube, I started to realise that I was finding I watch other YouTubers doing a certain video, how to do this. I think I know exactly how I'd like to do it. But then as soon as I start to go trying to do it, I can't keep my brain on one topic. The words go wrong. It's all the practice of doing YouTube. You think I'd be able to say it right by now, but maybe it's also a bit of being very highly self-critical. But I see other people do a video Sarah Park-Matoch, for example. Shout out Sarah, she's awesome. And I think my videos could even be half as good as her. She really, really manages to put them over in a way that people understand, and this has started to lead me down a rather strange sort of alley. I've been having problems with organisation for quite a long time, like decades, losing things, forgetfulness, on the spot, your working memory as they call it. So someone giving you directions, asking you to fetch something from another room, all these kind of things that you don't have to remember, but they don't go into your long-term memory, but you don't forget either. So it's changing from doing one thing to something else. So say I'm skating, I find it really hard if someone comes up to me and I can't then get back into my skating, so I'm either doing one thing or doing the other. But when I'm skating outside, I'm aware if someone's nearby, and people would expect me, especially where I live, quite friendly, and I think they expect me to be quite friendly back. So then in my head, I know there's somebody watching me, I know there's someone there, and I'm do I say something? But as soon as I say hello, I've then taken myself out of my skate zone, and I'm probably going to fall and hurt myself, or struggle to get back into it. Or if I ignore the person, then they're going to think I'm an arsehole and that I'm not friendly. And why is Adele not talking? And this is just I know this is overthinking beyond overthinking, and I'm not saying that the person even thinks for a second, but these things. But I do feel that I find I'm getting really quite bad. It's happened over the last few years, really, since I've been a skateboarder, but social anxiety about being around other people, and also how I just don't expect people to understand most stuff I'm doing. I don't feel like I have a lot of friends, many friends close to me, especially in skating and stuff, and my other half is probably my soulmate, if I always be honest. It's just we do have a very, very deep understanding of each other. And he doesn't do skating, he hates skateboarding, but he says, I know why you do it. He said, I don't have to ask, I know why you do it, I do understand. And that is massive. And a few of my neighbours have really surprised me, by saying, yeah, you really enjoy it, don't listen to what anyone else says, have a great time, you obviously enjoy it, and you just do what makes you happy. And that's been massive for me, because I had the sort of thing in my head that everyone was against what I did. Again, putting way too much emphasis on what I thought other people think. This is not what people necessarily think, but this is how my brain was thinking at the time. And yeah, so I've been having problems with hyper focusing on things, having problems not being able to focus on anything because I'm scared of hyper focusing, and this has all led to being in the right state to make phone calls, for example. And then the harder I try, the worse it gets. At one point, my life was just a pile of messy post-it notes, and I didn't have a clue whether I was coming or going. Diaries don't work for me. And I've tried online stuff. I used to do things like the diary on my phone, scheduled reminder, stuff like that, but then my phones kept breaking and I'd lose my entire life. I think when I was in school, because I didn't seem to have these problems as much, we had a homework diary, and we were held accountable because we had to have it signed by our parents every week, and the teacher would look at it on the Monday morning and then sign it too. So you were held accountable to stuff, but as soon as I left school, there was no accountability. And like since then, like I don't know, it didn't happen like immediately, but it's sort of gradual shift. And I don't think things like pre-gambling have helped me personally, to be honest. Make it very much difficult for me to think and plan and organise. But there's so many things I can't even get into it. But like the emotional stuff has been really hard. Emotional instability. Getting frustrated and upset. Like I said, if I choose I want to focus on something, I can focus on that thing for like forever. If it's my thing and I have absolutely no concept of the world around me passing. And that's what it's like, no wait, it's like a superpower. Because I remember I used to curl up with a book when I was a kid. And I could read like an entire book just sitting on my bed, and I had no awareness. And then I'd go to like sit, you know, and then end up with like dead legs because I've been sitting with my legs crossed the entire time. But the problem with me for awareness is when I've gained awareness of stuff, as a consequence of me gaining awareness, I've actually become more anxious, because it's like, oh my god, that's another thing I didn't know about, like finance and stuff like that. I really struggle with that type of thing. And then the planning, the scheduling. Managing to get to places on time. Again, I used to be like really punctual, but like now, especially with like my problems, I just panic, and then the more I'm worrying, the worse my IBS is. So the girls, ladies, you know, tend to present differently to males. Also, I'm 37. I was born in 1987. There was absolutely no awareness, especially where I went to school. It was a very small school in Mid Wales. My other half jokes, he says I went to a Victorian school. You know, there was no awareness of these things, and I think also, like, as I said, you know, that there's times gone by. Like I think when I was in school, my brain felt like things were less complicated because it was just the only thing I had to deal with was school. But as I've gone on, there's been more facets added to my life. I've struggled more and more. I used to get like into social media, and I'd be there for like hours and hours and hours. I had absolutely no awareness. I was messaging for hours, you know, fiddling around on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And when I realised that I was doing that, it's like I was taking such a big step back from it. I was like, oh my god. I'm glad that I grew up my teenage years. We didn't have like things like Facebook, so that was a good thing, you know. Bebo came in after school, and so did MySpace. I was like in my 20s by that point. I would really struggle in today's society. I think I would. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm trying to sort of look at all these things from a more sort of like, what's the wise perspective. I've got a daily planner now. I've been running a planner it's a weekly planner. I've been running my weekly planner for like this is the third year. At the moment, I haven't managed to land a kickflip for like quite a few weeks. I almost landed on my first try the other day, but I haven't landed a kickflip in quite a few weeks. And that's okay, because at the moment I'm having to adapt how I skate, and ollies and kickflips and heel flips and such alike, where I'm popping with my, you know, especially like tricksing regular, I am really struggling with. So like everything I do, I feel is helping me be a better skater. But I don't just want to be a good skater in life, I want to be a good human being, and I want to be a good human being for everybody else around me, and especially for myself. I don't want to go on too much because I feel like I probably have blabbed on for like a considerable amount of time, but like, because I'm always fretting about things, so I've learned to take a step back. Gratitude journaling is a great one if you're feeling like me and you're getting that overthinking, especially on negative thoughts and stuff, and feeling like low thoughts and just uncontrollable thoughts and unwanted thoughts. Then I think gratitude journaling is a really great way of doing that, making you look at the good in things, and it's certainly helped me see the silver lining in a lot of crappy situations. That neurodivergent people are more likely to have IBS, especially like sort of diarrhea type symptoms, and like the link between anxiety between the brain and the gut, and the brain and gut have something called the brain gut axis, I believe. But yeah, the bowel is capable of producing, like, it can make decisions independent from the brain, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I had a great 2023. It's probably my best skateboarding year. Not probably, was my best skateboarding year yet. I hope you've had a chance to look at my best of 2023, which should have been out before you see this. But yeah, I do apologise, there's no skating, it's just me talking, but I feel like there's a certain element of honesty I need to put forward to you guys. But now that I'm approaching 400 subs, well on our way to 500, you know, I know that I put my heart in it for all the right reasons, and at the end of the day, it's not about the subs, it's about you guys, it's about just skateboarding, irregardless, you know, you can adapt and change, and find a way to skate and enjoy no matter what. You know, even if I lost my legs today or whatever, you know, both my legs, like, I would find a way to skateboard, and that is what lies at the heart of the creativity and passion of skateboarding. No matter what limbs you do or don't have, or like whether you're blind or deaf or any of these things. There's so many, you know, disabilities, you know, and then even WCMX as well, the wheelchair. You know, if you can't stand up, you can skate in a wheelchair. So there's always a way to participate in this incredible sport. My name's amputee.adele. I'm a 36, almost 37-year-old amputee, really learning to skateboard with 1 and 2 legs. And today we've been doing a quick life update, life reset, and hopefully going on from here we can have an awesome 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff, and I'll see you again in another episode. Worry less, skate more. Peace, one love. If I've got this, you've got this. Amputee.adele, signing out. It would appear after like beating myself up on YouTube for like 4 years, 3 years. Sorry, it would appear after having surgery on my shoulder would mean like I just find it so hard to move in the direction, like hopefully going on from here we're gonna have a